Before SUVs and crossovers dominated every parking lot in America, one struggling automaker created something revolutionary that would change the automotive landscape forever. In 1979, while the Big Three were still churning out gas-guzzling land yachts and basic 4x4s, American Motors Corporation quietly introduced a vehicle so ahead of its time that the market didn't even have a category for it. This is the untold story of the AMC Eagle, the world's first crossover SUV that arrived 20 years before the term crossover even existed. The late 1970s were brutal for American automakers. The oil crisis had sent gas prices soaring, foreign competition was intensifying, and changing consumer preferences were reshaping the market faster than most companies could adapt. But for American Motors Corporation, America's fourth largest automaker, the situation was particularly dire. AMC was bleeding money at an alarming rate. Their aging product line wasn't connecting with consumers, and they lacked the massive R&D budgets of competitors like Ford, GM, and Chrysler. By 1978, industry analysts were openly speculating about when, not if, AMC would file for bankruptcy or be acquired by a larger company. The company's leadership knew they needed a game changer, but with limited resources, they couldn't develop an entirely new platform from scratch. Instead, they would have to get creative with what they already had. This desperation-driven innovation would lead to one of the most forward-thinking vehicles in automotive history. Today, crossovers are everywhere. They've become the default family vehicle across America, combining the comfort and efficiency of passenger cars with the capability and stance of SUVs. But in 1979, this concept simply didn't exist until the Eagle took flight. What made the Eagle truly revolutionary was its fundamental architecture. While Jeeps, Broncos, and other 4x4s of the era were built on truck platforms with body-on-frame construction, the Eagle started with AMC's existing Concorde passenger car. Engineers then added four-wheel drive, raised the ride height, and made subtle styling changes to completely rethink what a passenger vehicle could be. Comfortable enough for daily commuting, but capable enough for weekend adventures. This car-based approach to creating an all-weather, all-terrain vehicle was decades ahead of its time. The Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V, often credited with starting the crossover movement, wouldn't arrive until the mid-1990s, nearly 15 years after the Eagle pioneered the concept. What many people don't realize is that the Eagle's impressive capability wasn't created in a vacuum. Its development was only possible because AMC had purchased Jeep from Kaiser in 1970. Giving their engineers access to world-class four-wheel drive technology. The Eagle's innovative drivetrain borrowed heavily from Jeep's expertise, adapting components from the CJ and Cherokee models to work with a unibody passenger car. This technology transfer created a vehicle with near Jeep capability, but with the comfort, handling, and fuel economy advantages of a standard car. This Jeep DNA gave the Eagle legitimate off-road credentials that went far beyond the all-weather capability of most modern crossovers. With 8 inches of ground clearance, impressive even by today's standards, and a robust four-wheel drive system, the Eagle could tackle terrain that would challenge dedicated off-roaders. Perhaps the most forward-thinking aspect of the Eagle was its innovative approach to four-wheel drive. Unlike most 4x4 vehicles of the era, which required drivers to manually engage four-wheel drive with complicated levers, buttons, or even locking front hubs, the Eagle featured a full-time system that was always working. This set-it-and-forget-it approach was revolutionary for the time. Drivers didn't need any special knowledge or training. They simply got in and drove, regardless of conditions. The system automatically sent power to the wheels with the most traction, improving safety and capability without any input from the driver. The system used a viscous coupling that allowed for differences in wheel speed between the front and rear axles, preventing binding on dry pavement, another innovation that wouldn't become common in all-wheel drive vehicles until years later. For drivers in snowy regions, this was nothing short of revolutionary. The Eagle could handle winter conditions better than almost anything else on the road, all without any special knowledge or input from the driver. This approach to all-weather capability would eventually become the template for virtually every crossover SUV on the market today. While most people who remember the Eagle think of the wagon version, which indeed became the most popular model, AMC actually developed an entire range of Eagle vehicles that showcase the versatility of the concept. The Eagle lineup included the Eagle Wagon, the flagship model with substantial cargo space and distinctive wood-grain side panels on some trim levels. The Eagle Sedan, a four-door version that looked like a standard car but offered the same all-weather capability. The Eagle Coupe, a two-door model that was among the first sport coupes with four-wheel drive, the Eagle SX4, a sporty liftback version aimed at younger buyers, and the Eagle Camback, essentially a two-door hatchback with four-wheel drive, perhaps the most unusual variant. This experimental approach resulted in some truly unique vehicles that wouldn't be replicated for decades. The Eagle SX4, for instance, was essentially a sports coupe with four-wheel drive and increased ground clearance, a formula that wouldn't return to the market until the early 2000s with vehicles like the Subaru WRX. Despite its innovative design and genuine capability, the Eagle faced a significant challenge. Consumers in 1980 simply didn't understand what it was supposed to be. AMC's marketing materials reflected this confusion. Some advertisements positioned the Eagle as a luxury car with added capability. Others emphasized its off-road prowess, showing it alongside Jeeps. Still, others focused on its all-weather safety, particularly in snowy conditions. This lack of clear positioning made it difficult for the Eagle to find its audience. Dealers often resorted to simplistic pitches like, "It's a car that won't get stuck in the snow," rather than explaining the revolutionary nature of the vehicle. It would take another 20 years before the market would fully embrace the crossover concept, with vehicles like the Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V. By then, AMC was long gone, having been acquired by Chrysler in 1987, primarily for the Jeep brand. Despite the market confusion, the Eagle found a devoted following among certain groups, particularly those who needed all-weather capability but didn't want a truck-based vehicle. Famous Eagle owners included actor and racing driver Paul Newman, who reportedly loved his Eagle wagon for its ability to handle the snowy conditions near his Connecticut home while still offering car-like handling. Author Stephen King was another notable Eagle enthusiast, even featuring the vehicle in some of his novels. The Eagle also became popular with professionals who needed to reach remote locations regardless of weather conditions. Rural doctors, veterinarians, utility workers, and others who couldn't afford to be stranded by bad weather embraced the Eagle's unique capabilities. This dedicated fan base kept Eagles on the road long after AMC ceased to exist, with some owners maintaining their vehicles for decades and forming clubs dedicated to preserving these unique vehicles. While not designed as a performance vehicle, the Eagle made unexpected appearances in motorsport, particularly in rally racing, where its four-wheel drive system gave it an advantage on loose surfaces. In the SCCA Pro Rally series of the early 1980s, Eagles competed surprisingly well against purpose-built rally cars, especially in adverse conditions where traction was at a premium. Driver Tim Benner achieved several impressive finishes in a nearly stock Eagle, showcasing the vehicle's robust design and capable drivetrain. This racing heritage helped cement the Eagle's reputation for capability beyond normal road use and foreshadowed the later success of all-wheel drive vehicles in rally competition, most notably the Subaru Impreza WRX and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. AMC's advertising for the Eagle leaned heavily into the go-anywhere capability, often showing the vehicle in situations that would be impossible for normal cars. One famous advertisement showed an Eagle parked atop a steep snow-covered hill with the tagline, "The car that climbed the mountain." Another showed an Eagle driving through a stream with water up to its doors, something few owners would actually attempt, but which showcased the vehicle's theoretical capabilities. These dramatic demonstrations helped establish the Eagle's unique position in the market, even if many buyers weren't quite ready for the concept. The approach would later be adopted by virtually every SUV and crossover manufacturer, with vehicles routinely shown in extreme off-road situations that few owners would ever attempt. The Eagle represented one of the final innovative vehicles from American Motors before the company was acquired by Chrysler in 1987. Despite its forward-thinking design, it couldn't save AMC from financial troubles. However, the Eagle remained in production until the very end, outlasting many other AMC models. The final Eagles rolled off the assembly line in December 1987, shortly after Chrysler completed its acquisition of AMC. Ironically, while Chrysler purchased AMC primarily for the Jeep brand, they failed to continue the Eagle's crossover concept. It would be another decade before Chrysler would enter the crossover market with the Pacifica, by which time Japanese and European manufacturers had already established dominance in the category that AMC had pioneered. Like many vehicles of its era, and particularly those from AMC, Eagles were notorious for their susceptibility to rust, especially in northern climates where road salt was common. The wheel wells, floor pans, rocker panels, and lower body sections were particularly vulnerable. Once rust took hold, it could quickly compromise structural integrity, sending otherwise mechanically sound Eagles to the junkyard. This Achilles heel meant that many Eagles didn't survive as long as their mechanically robust drivetrains would have allowed. Finding a rust-free Eagle today is extremely difficult, which has contributed to their rarity and increasing value among collectors. Some owners resorted to extensive undercoating, regular washing during winter months, and even preemptive panel replacement to keep their beloved Eagles on the road. Today, restoration specialists often have to fabricate replacement panels from scratch, as original body parts are increasingly scarce. Today, the AMC Eagle has achieved cult classic status among car enthusiasts who appreciate its innovative design and historical significance. Clean examples, particularly wagons, have seen their value steadily climbing as collectors recognize the Eagle's place as the grandfather of all modern crossovers. What once could be purchased for a few $100s as a winter beater can now command $15,000 or more in excellent condition. Eagle enthusiasts gather at specialized meets and AMC-focused car shows, sharing parts, restoration tips, and stories about their vehicles. Online communities dedicated to the Eagle have thousands of members, all working to preserve these innovative vehicles for future generations. What was once considered an oddball vehicle is now appreciated as a visionary creation that was simply decades ahead of its time. A case study in how being too innovative can sometimes be a liability in the marketplace. If you're lucky enough to spot an Eagle on the road today, you're looking at more than just a classic car. You're seeing the original blueprint for the modern vehicles that now fill our roads. From the Toyota RAV4 to the Honda CR-V, from the Subaru Outback to the Ford Escape, all follow the fundamental formula that AMC pioneered in 1979. Start with a car platform, add four-wheel drive, raise the right height, and create something that offers the best of both worlds. While AMC didn't survive to see its vision become the industry standard, the Eagle stands as proof that sometimes the most influential ideas come from the most unexpected places, and that being too far ahead of your time can be both a blessing and a curse in the fast-moving automotive industry. Let us know in the comments, would you drive an AMC Eagle today if you could find one? If you enjoyed learning about this automotive pioneer, hit the like button and subscribe for more untold stories from automotive history.